And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren, and welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us today. It's the beginning of hay season 2026, and we're excited, one of our favorite times of year. We've had our baler out today, prepping it to bale hay tomorrow. And in the process of baling hay, we're going to be filming it and bringing that to you here on 8th Day Chronicles. You're going to see some new equipment on our baler, and I want to share that with you. I'm excited about this. Years ago, when I bought my 330 Redlands twine wrap baler, that's a 3-point hitch attached as it comes from Redlands. You hook it to your 3-point links on your tractor and you bale hay. When you get to the end of your windrows, you can't hardly turn that thing. It just wants to scoot on the ground. It's dangerous. You have to pick it up to be able to move it and then sit it back down. I didn't like that. Also, the distance between your tractor. When you're driving along on straddling a windrow and you're picking up hay in that baler and it's attached to your 3-point, you're constantly looking back to make sure the pickup head's doing its job and you're staying in your windrow and all that stuff. With that baler being so close to the back of your tractor, it is a pain in the neck with it that close, literally looking back all the time to see it that close, having to look over like this and straight down in behind you. So after we owned the baler for a year or so, I set out on a journey to find a better alternative. The baler itself was fantastic. How it hooked to the tractor, I was not happy with. So I set out on a journey and I looked at some other drawbar hitch systems. Ibex makes one for their balers. However, I thought maybe that it would work on the Redlands balers, but it's come to my attention later that it will not without heavy modification, so I don't want to go there. And I couldn't find anything. So I set out on my own to design and build a drawbar hitch for my baler. And I collaborated with a really good friend of mine, a good friend, who is a professional welder. And I designed this drawbar, and with his help welding it up, after 2 or 3 builds and tearing it back apart, you had to get the baler setting just right, not like this, not like this. There was a lot more geometry and mathematics went into it than I originally thought there was gonna be. But we eventually hit a home run and come out with a drawbar that worked like a charm. And I used that drawbar for several years and in videos, and I had people ask me, Darren, where can I get one of those drawbars? Darren, will you build me one of those drawbars? I'll be willing to pay you whatever you want for it. I'll pay you for your time and your work and pay the shipping, all that. That just did not interest me. Number one, we do not have an LLC here on our farm, so I didn't want to get involved in the legalities of all that. Plus, my time is precious to me. I've got so much going on and different things that I just did not want to devote the time to building multiple drawbars and selling them and shipping them out and all that stuff. Fast forward a couple years. Kyle Smith became the owner of Carver Equipment. Steve Carver retired, semi-retired. He still works there for Kyle. But Kyle bought out Carver Equipment. And me and Kyle became friends, and through Steve and Carver Equipment. And Kyle is a #1 guy. Through conversation, friendly conversation, not business, Kyle asked me about my drawbar and how much I liked it and things of that nature. A little bit later, Kyle asked me, he said, Darren, would you be willing to share your design? If you're not going to sell them yourself, and you have no desire to do that, would you be willing to share that drawbar design with me? I didn't even hesitate. I said yes. Because I think that much of Carver Equipment and Kyle Smith and Steve Carver. I said, yes, I'll be more than glad to. So we went to pick up a rotary rake from Carver Equipment, and when we went and picked it up, I just dropped him off my drawbar because it was fall of the year and we wouldn't be using it again till spring. I dropped him off my drawbar with my blessings and said, here it is, copy it all you want. And he knocked it out of the park. Let's take a look. Introducing the HayBoss hay accessory system from Carver Equipment. When you buy the HayBoss Drawbar Hitch System, you're going to get the frame, and you notice very well thought out. 2 5/8, 2-inch ball hitches, and your drawbar hole here in the middle. A PTO shaft, I'm not sure if the system comes with a PTO shaft or not. That's something you'd have to ask Kyle Smith. But I do know it's going to come with the frame, 3-point hookup, and the drawbar. Cross Timbers hitch, model 125. That is a good looking hitch system. Okay. And you can see we've got an extended PTO shaft, and the distance between the tractor seat back to the baler is awesome. No breaking your neck looking down straight in behind your tractor. Now you can see really well the windrow you're picking up. You can make turns without having to pick this thing up off the ground. The whole system is just top notch. So for all the folks that's asked me over the years, and I've had a lot of questions, comments, emails, folks asking me, Darren, where can I get a drawbar system like you have? Will you build me one, etc., etc. You can buy them now, and you can actually buy a Cross Timbers Farm hitch design through Carver Equipment. We don't build it, Carver Equipment does. And speaking of Kyle building this equipment and the small hay bale accumulators and things, Kyle is an entrepreneur and an innovator. He is on the cutting edge of this small scale hay equipment stuff, and I so appreciate him and what he's done and Steve Carver's done for the small scale hay community. And Kyle not being satisfied with status quo and designing and building and coming out with better and better small scale equipment for us small scale hay farmers. And this drawbar system, I was glad to share that design with Carver Equipment so they could produce them for sale. Because I've had so many people ask me, Darren, I want one of those drawbars, will you build me one? And I hated to tell people no. I like to be able to help people, but I just did not have the energy nor the time nor the wherewithal to mass produce these drawbars for sale. So if you've asked me in the past, and a lot of you have, where did I get that drawbar? Will I build you one, etc., etc. You can buy one now from Carver Equipment. Shoot Kyle Smith an email, give him a phone call. If you don't have his number, have his email, visit carverequipment.com, and you can find all that information there. The HayBoss series of baler accessories, tractor accessories from Carver Equipment is going to be a hit. It's the small bale accumulator, all that stuff's in the HayBoss series that Carver Equipment has personally designed and used designs like from us, from actual hay farmers, somebody that really uses this equipment. So we're proud to have the Cross Timbers Hitch logo on these drawbars coming from Cross Timbers Farm, our design. and we gave Kyle Smith and Carver Equipment our blessings to use our design, and we hope he sells a dump truck load of these things. They're that good. If you ever use a drawbar system, okay, let me back up just a minute. If you use one of these small balers and you use it on your 3-point attachment, and you try one time with this drawbar system and being able to make turns and go through your field turning and not have to pick that baler up, be able to look back very easily and see the distance between to be able to see your windrow, you will never go back to putting it on a 3-point. That's just my opinion. I would never go back to hooking that thing up back up to my 3-point. Matter of fact, if that was the only option I had, I'd just shake my head and say, "Do I want to keep doing this?" Because once you use that, there's no going back. It's that good. So if you're interested in one, visit carverequipment.com, give Kyle an email, just give him a phone call. He's a super friendly, super helpful guy, and you won't meet anybody any nicer to talk to on the phone, to do business with. He's honest and forthright and will be really good to you and your hay equipment, and I can't say enough good things about him. So check out the HayBoss line of this small scale hay equipment from Carver Equipment. HayBoss, in collaboration with Cross Timbers Farm. We hope if you've been interested in one of these drawbar systems, I hope you give Kyle a call, talk to him, and come up, get your own. Once you go here with this HayBoss system and this drawbar, you'll never go back to hooking that thing at 3-point. Thank you for being with us for this short update. We're going to be baling hay real soon, and you can see this whole system in action. If you've watched our channel very long, you've already saw it in action, a lot of it. We've used the drawbar system for several years, and I can say with confidence that that drawbar system works. And it works well, unless, if you've got any farm sense, common sense is what I call about farm implements and stuff. If you've got any farm sense, this thing will be out of the world good and you will love it. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it. And I pray God blesses you and your family. And I pray y'all have a fantastic day.